Welcome back to Wired Roots. Today we're tackling a special project, a custom wood and epoxy nameplate for Rowan. We are combining fractal burning, routing, and a vivid blue epoxy pour to create this mountain landscape. Full disclosure, I lost the footage for the fractal burn, acetone transfer, and routing. But take a look at this final result. Stick around to see exactly how the rest came together. To get the design onto the wood, I used an acetone transfer. You place a printed design face down, drop some acetone on the back, and then burnish it with a piece of metal. It transfers the ink perfectly so you have a guide for your router. After the acetone transfer, I routed out the mountains and the lettering, and then I hit it with the fractal burner to get those lightning strike details, which brings us to the main event.
Wow, this isn't going to take much at all. It's pretty satisfying to do it this way. You can get it all the way up, make sure that, it binds to the corners. Epoxy's starting to heat up in this cup here. It's a good thing. Still well within our work time. So my idea here is to make sure that it bonds to the wood, is kind of scraping it along the edges. I don't know if that's needed. We're experimenting. Yeah, these pipettes take a while to load. We need to hurry up and get this done because we're going to go back and add white in for the snow. I don't know if this wood burn here from the fractal is going to be covered. We will find out here shortly. Definitely have too much. So we used, for these mountains, a lot less than what I expected. You know what? Maybe we will fill a few of these. See what they do. This is a practice piece. Oh Lord, that's not what to do. Look what that does to your design. I think I was onto something by going around the perimeter. That adds a lot better detail to the mica powder. Alright, since we have so much blue, we're going to go ahead and do all of the letters as well. Trick would be is to put one of them in here and allow it to siphon as you're dropping with the other, so use two of them per color. Alright, there's the R. I really need to get this epoxy out. It's warming up in this cup. I mixed up too much of it. These letters are all different, a combination of wood burning, Dremel, router bits. It looks cool, but once we get epoxy in it, I don't know that we're even going to be able to tell. We're going to go back to how we did the mountains on the edging. This was probably the easiest one to do. And man, is it easier. It's accepting the epoxy much better. These straight bits, I can just lay a bead right along it, and it creates the gusset up to that 90, the surface tension of the epoxy. We're going to try to bring out the details since this is a test piece. Maybe I'll even try it down here on this nice little fractal. Okay, go make sure that we did okay. Got a couple drops where needed. It's getting stringy. Man, that W did not turn out as well as I had hoped. Looks interesting. All right, now we got to try to get some white in here. So we have a really small amount, but we want it really white. White pigment, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. All right, the fun part. Okay, here we go. See if we can ruin this. See, that looks like I drew it. Shoot. So that white's going to cover up the wood burnt edge. Well, wasn't where I wanted that. So we're just going to take that white, since it's not where we wanted it, and drag it as a highlight. We need to get this blended in before it sets. Give it some more white. See, I'm kind of liking that look better. Very thin wisp. Alright, it is time to finish up this nameplate. In the previous video I showed how to pour the epoxy and to get these nice long swirls of white. One thing that I don't like is this white bit here, so I'm going to hit that with the wood burner. It's just a hand wood burner. And then one of the big issues that I have is I over poured. So what I'm going to do is face it off with this, it's a 1/2 inch flat bit, and it cuts perfectly flat. So I'm going to set this down here, and we're going to come through and just take this off down to it. I really like how this turned out at the bottom. It looks like streams coming out of the mountain. These ones, they didn't fractal out as much as I had wanted. They look more like, you know, hand drawn on there. All right, I just got the router set up, and one thing to note is always try it on something that's not your piece. So the first one where I eyeballed it came in here. I brought it up to here, the second bit, and while it was running, I made it just kiss this surface here. So I got it where I want it, and now we're gonna shave off this excess epoxy. All right, I went a little deep on some areas, but we're gonna hit it with a sander here and see what we can do. All right, so I want to show you something that's going to be hard to capture. Let me get some better light here. So here is where you get the top sheen of a fresh pour. I sanded all the way up until here. It's now flush. This has just a little rise to it. And you'll see in the mountains as well. So right here it tapers off. So this is actually little concave, and that's actually what I was shooting for on all of this. That way it, you know, came up the sides and it's nice and polished. But I overfilled these guys. I'm gonna hit this with finer sandpaper and just try to bring it out. You know, this one here too, a little bit more over here. But man, it just, you can see that gloss. There we go. So there, you'll see where that sandpaper, you can even hear it smooth. So I'm going to try to polish that out. But I just love the look of the natural pour. It just gives it a nice sheen. We're going to keep working on this and probably hit this with the wood burner. Quadruple op steel wool. It didn't do much. It did lighten the haze. I ended up going back over it. Now what I'm going to try is some Scratch X 2.0. You get this at the auto parts store. Just putting a little touch of it on. I can show you this. It's going to be hard to see, but you got to get that reflection. So it stops right there. There it is. So you can see that shine. And then here is where I did not polish. So you can see that shine right through. And then this one still needs polish. So you see that light moving across here. Doesn't come through. Now we got it here. So that actually does really well. I'm thoroughly impressed with that. May open up some other opportunities on this. So I'm going to polish this last bit of the mountain. Maybe some of this river over here, this one here. Alright, I've decided that I'm going to buff it all out. Since these letters are ever so slightly raised, I'm going to sand this all down. That way I can buff it. So that way it's all even, and it doesn't look some of it touched and untouched.
All right, so I hit this with a sander, and then I switched over to the router once I identified all the high spots. I'm adjusting the router a few times as I go, using it to take off the bulk of the material. The sander really takes a while, especially since the epoxy is harder than the wood itself.
Let's see what we can do with this W. Salvage this W. Wood burner out.
Trying to get this to show here. You can see the tip of the wood burner gets red hot, much different than the soldering iron type.
So I do need to sand it all off. Let's see what this looks like. W definitely has a different look to it. Lots of experimentation on this one, buddy. What I'm thinking is I'd like to get some fine grit and go over all of this. So let's see what Mom wants to do with that W. We'll be back. Alright, so I just picked up this kit off of Amazon. It's got all of these ranging from 320 all the way up to 2000 grit. And this 2000 grit is super smooth. We're going to use that to get this all nice and polished. I looked at your big box store like Lowe's, and they have these, but they're just really expensive. These made up to, as you can see here, they fit perfectly with a DeWalt orbital sander, and they're meant for automotive, so they're for wet sanding and dry sanding. All right, it's gonna be a long night, so I got distracted and I ended up switching out to 320 grit and sanding the sides, smoothing out some imperfections, and I ended up toasting the whole front. So we got to resand the entire thing back to 2000 grit. So here's to a shot of espresso and a long night. I thought this would be a good time, you know, since I have to kind of start over from 300 grit, show you the difference in this epoxy pour here. Okay, so you can see here the concave nature of it, and then the top portion is very flush with the board. That's all the way along the letters, and then some down through here. I probably could plane this and then make it all one level, but I want this to be a little unique in the sense that, you know, it has its little blemishes. So we're gonna finish sanding this, and just, you know, don't mix up your sandpaper. Working through the second sanding here. Just finished the 800. We're gonna go for the 1200. Go up to the 1500. It already feels, I mean, the wood's almost shiny. All right, we are finally back to 2000 grit here. Gotta watch that I don't get any grit on here to scratch it. All right, so I'm gonna take this and vacuum out all of the little pores. Then we are going to put on the furniture polish. It's a wax that I have to buff in. I'm gonna do that first, and then the letters and the epoxy. The reason for that is I want to seal the wood so that I don't get the compound into the wood. So we'll be back. All right, so I got to vacuum and clean this all up. I also got a toothbrush and clean this out just a little bit. I didn't want to go too much because these worm holes, they add character, but the more that I take out of it, I think the more attention it's going to draw up here to this corner. So I think we're ready to wax this. And for the wax,
I almost spent 60 bucks on a premium finish for this until I looked at the specs. When you take wood up to 2000 grit, you don't need a penetrating oil. You just need a hard top coat. This $8 tin of Walrus wax is the ultimate loophole.
that we're going to put on over top of this, the whole thing. And then we're going to come back and buff the epoxy. Alright, so we changed the light for this shot just so that I can see a glare from the light on how the polish is coming through. And this stuff, it looks like it has a wax layer on the outside. Oh wow, that looks awesome. The stuff's pretty tough with that wax surface on it. Wow, makes me think I don't even need to buff these epoxy bits, but I'm still going to. This really brings it out. I've hardly used any of this little tin. I'm gonna lay this on a little thick here. All right, this feels like it's made out of something other than wood at this point. I've never done anything to this high a polish. So next step, we're gonna get this epoxy polished with our Dremel. Stay tuned. All right, so now it's time to polish the epoxy. Here's my Dremel with this rouge.
Here's a perfect example of what not to do. Based on some initial research, I picked up these 3 solid polishing bars. The theory was that a solid compound would keep the spatter down off the newly waxed surface of the nameplate. Unfortunately, it backfired. The compound didn't clear the spent epoxy off the buffing wheel, caused it to glaze over and stop cutting entirely. Instead of a mirror finish, I ended up with a gummed up wheel and a bit of a mess to clean up.
All right, this is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna go off camera and we'll be back. I think we're gonna be all right. So I'm putting this, it's actually an Automotive. It's called Scratch X, Meguiar's Scratch X 2.0. And I'm just taking a little bit off of a tray, painting it on. And what that allows is fresh polishing compound to come across the wheel. What I think is, that's my theory anyways. So as I'm moving through this fresh, it's kicking it out and not binding up on the wheel. So we'll give this a shot and see what the difference is. Bump that down on speed. Try not to do too much at a time is my plan, because I don't want it to truly dry. The moisture that's in here helps, has a lot of, I think it's like a water base, maybe it's glycol, but it absorbs a lot of the heat. So it's not just straight friction. It kicks out some of the water, which removes some of the heat, kind of blades it off. Hopefully we don't have any interactions with the wood. Got it nice and sealed up. I really should have let it sit for a day. I got a little ahead of myself. Guess who didn't let it sit? We're gonna work into it this time, see if that does better, so that we can kind of reuse what it kicks out. I have a drill buffer that I could put across this whole thing and just buff the whole thing. Not really interested in that. It's going to put too much compound down where I don't want it. Make sure you keep your tip moving so you don't burn. Spreads that heat out, which I was doing before, but without any cutting fluid, I guess, that comes in this Scratch X, it just really ate that epoxy quickly. Everything that my AI told me and YouTube told me was to use these. I went back to where I started. Go figure. Did learn that I needed to put down a wax layer before doing this. Oh man, that's amazing. Here, let me show you where I messed up on the end. See it right there. So heats it up and then it pits it. All right, we just got done buffing the epoxy in the R. Now we're going to hit it with this drill attached buffing pad. We're going to use just the Walrus oil. What I'm hoping to do is get rid of any of that residue from buffing the epoxy. In case you were wondering, the contents of this is Caranuba and candela wax, saffron oil, tung oil, and hemp oil. All right, this ought to be fun.
Buffing is the secret here. The friction generates just enough heat to drive that wax deep into the grain for a permanent bond.
All right, guys, so this is it. The sign turned out better than I expected. This was supposed to be a prototype all along. I did a lot of experimentation along the way.
Experimenting is where the real learning happens, and I definitely learned a lot on this build. It's not just about the final product, it's about the trial and error that gets us there. If you want to see more of that process, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We're moving way beyond simple signs for the next fractal burning project, and it's going to be wild. We're pushing the limits of high voltage next, so drop your ideas for the burn below. See you in the next one.